SFB Addict here. What is this GNU? I thought I was using Linux. Well, Linux is only the kernel, not the applications that run on it. The kernel and GNU together are the operating system. GNU is the compiler, libraries, binaries, utilities, many of the terminal commands, and the shell, bash. Some are used in Windows and Mac. A kernel is basically the lowest level of software that interfaces with the hardware in your computer. Think of it as a bridge between GNU and the hardware. So GNU makes it possible for you to run your applications, things like your word processor, or your email client, or your web browser. So what most people think of as being Linux isn't actually Linux, it's GNU. So here's the GNU website, and basically GNU is an operating system that is free software. So if we take a look here at their page, we learn about the free software movement, what is free software, and then more about GNU, when it was first created, and the packages. Now the fun thing is that in 1990, GNU had its own kernel called the Herd, and it is under active development. The thing is, this was actually before Linux came about. So why does everybody use Linux and GNU? Well, the Herd is being developed by volunteers, and the Herd was kind of slow in being developed. Linux was faster in terms of getting to the market. And if you're interested in the actual story of the development of the Herd, you can go into the more details link, and it'll give you that historical outlook and more details of depth. So, what is this GNU software? Well, we go in and take a look under software. We can see there is an official list of the packages, and we also learned that there is some non-GNU software, TeX and X windows, that are used. But here is the list of the GNU software. Now, most people will have absolutely no idea what any of this is, and don't even realize that they use it. But for instance, here's one that you might, GIMP. And melting. Anybody that does any video work will know what melt is. Of course, most people confuse all of this as being Linux, when it is, of course, actually GNU software. And if we go to the actual Herd page, you'll see that you can actually get a distribution running Herd, Debian GNU Herd. So it's available in the unstable branch of the Debian archive. And if you go to the gnu.org software/Herd, you can get various releases of the Herd. And at debian.org ports Herd CD, you can of course get the port for the installer. And there are some videos on YouTube on what the GNU Herd OS looks like. kind of bare bones in terms of the skinning. And of course it has the typical applications that you are used to with Linux. Here's an example of Firefox. And here's a picture with the application GIMP open. And again, the interface itself, the graphic interface, doesn't appear to be as polished as other Linux distributions. And most of the polish that we're used to seeing is actually not Linux, it's not GNU, but it's actually the desktop environment, which is the collection of GUI applications referred to as the desktop environment. Things like the menu, the icons, toolbars, widgets, Windows managers. And those are the things that look polished to us. Anyway, there you go. What is GNU heard?